ndonzi Casper Chigama kana kuti Caspido ndo rimwe rataishandisa music or ndinoshandisa music. Nini ndimughetto youth, I have to say. Ndakakurira ndakazvarwa kuchitungwiza. That's where I grew up. Ndakaenda kuchikoro ikoko. Then ndakazomova kuenda kunogara kuHeadcliff around 2014. But of course ndaita chijaga ndakambotigara kuchitungwiza ndombotigara kuHeadcliff. Right now I'm now a married man. Nemukadzi ndava nemwana. I think in short ndizvo zviripo. I also studied music when I was young. Ndakakura ndichifarira music. Kubva ndiri primary ndaitoita zvokuridza marimba. Ine ndiri munhu aikomposa. Ndaiti ndakanzwa kana song, I was very quick to kunonzi kuimba masong ndichitranslate madesi kana kucreate my own lyrics ndichishandisa beat remunhu kana ndichishandisa song yemunhu. Tisu vanhu vaya vaiimba masongs evanhu vesirizvo tichiisa mawords edu chaivo kana kuti tichida kukutuka, tichida kukunyeya, kana kuti wande bore ndine message anoda kukutuka, ndaigona kutongoimba song ndichitokutuka ndichinyepedzera kuimba song yekudhara kana song yemumwe munhu. That was me. I was into music like that, and ndaifarira rap music. And I was also inspired by Maskiri as well. He was my favorite artist when I was young. And then I also started listening to Eminem. Atongoti chirungu ka Eminem, so nongoisanya relate na Maskiri pakuti ukunzwa zvakutara Eminem nongoshingo memorize my lyrics, but the message unongosunganatsa kuinzwisisa because I was very young during those times. But yeah, in general, that's me. Yeah, so my experience in the ghetto experience in ghetto yakatongoma, especially manje for people like us wekuti at some point takatozombonadzidza futi kumusha. I remember in my primary grade 6 and 7 ndakatonyora grade 7 kumusha kuGuruwe, and unongochi life yekumusha everyone knows kuti zvinenge zvakatooma, but kwandiri zvaitwa ngechoro normal. Muka mofudza mombe munodidi apa chikoro chenyu chiri kure kure. Mine was just 2 kilometers high, but it's also a bit far for one ghetto. Saka then also ndabva kumusha ndapasa grade 7 yangu ndakatoipasa ndichidzidza kumusha koko, and then I have my father akanditora. He's my father's brother, but do vanototi time vanoti I'm his firstborn. I also love him as well. So vakanditora kumusha vakanditosa muHarare chichi, and then at some point I went back to Headcliff kwabereki wangu as well. Life has also not been good koko. Sangana kuti ma challenges zvaikonditicha insurance because taizomuka chinotsvaka huni area yemazowe netsoka, so maimuka kana na 3 am motanga kufamba mozosvika chichimosvika mowana matanda enyu huni modzoka zvisvika 1-2 pm chisvika pamba makutanga kubika. So all those challenges azvina kuzondidzora mumashure kuti ndizove what I wanted to be. So kuti munhu akazokuona navanhu vachiti ana Caspido chi House of Arts, but they will not understand kuti where I come from or where I came from. I faced a lot of things and zvakandidzidzisa kuti ndive this insurance. So now if I face my challenges, I will still think of where I came from. No, this is not a challenge. Zvandakatosangana nazvo kumashuroko ndo anga ari challenges. So at times when you're growing up, especially when you're going to school, unoza kuchikoro zvedu even zvacho zvemughetto kunenge mune vana vese, kunenge kune vamwe vana vekuti kumbawo kwavo zvinhu zvakanyatsoringana zvokuti vangoriwo mughetto zvavo, but you can tell kuti aiwa kumba kwavo nekwedu zvakatosiyana. So there were times yekuti I remember when I was in primary, I had a friend ainzi Kuda Kwasheguri. I still remember even the name. So kumana wekumba kwavo kwanga kuripo zvokuti aiuya achitiudza kuti so my father nguva vaenda kumahotel vana Mikus chichiya achitiudza zvinhu zvepadhish kuti vana movie yakati pasatellite dish achiuya nechimwe chikafu chainakidza zvokuti dzimwe nguva aigona apa iye aionererwa ka aigona kutosvika obva dzimwe nguva aigeza maoko ake tandaenda kubreak paper obva atanga kugeza maoko ake nedrink obva burisa rimwe raada kumwa something like that. So he was that kind of a guy angari munhu wacho anoonererwa chaizvo. So because I was in primary, sometimes ndingosota nyatsotanga kufunga ndipo ipo unomborealize kuti panotanga mbogregate actually kuti komana why isusu kwedu kusina izvi kumba kwedu isusu tinomirira kungoona ZBC chete munhu ari kutudza zvemachannels apa mukwambo zvekunzi kuna na SABC kuna na ETV kuna na MTV what na Eminate what kwatiri it was something taitongoti kumba kwava nemachannels both kwedu sitenge tingoti neZBC TV but kuregreta kemwana mudiki kungofunga kuti amana dai ndakamboendawo izvozvo. But I think when I grew up ndakutanga kureasona I started appreciating the ghetto more, also because it gave me what I wanted. Even for me to be where I am today is because of the ghetto. So I think at some point God knows why He placed you in a place, why He put you in a certain place, and what He wants to do with you. And to me, I love being in the ghetto. When times were tough for me, what kept me motivated was the idea of thinking that at some point I also want to give my mother a life that she deserves. Ndo chinhu chakanditera ndirame ndichizongoramba ndiri zvandiri or ndirame ndichipusha kuti at least I want to achieve something, because I saw that woman struggling for us to get something. Even my father, I think my parents were really struggling. So kuti unongochona kuti ana vari kushingirira kuti mungonzi mawana something. There was a time yekuti zvinhu zvakatombonyatsooma, madays akamboitwa operation muramba tsvina chichi, zvinhu zvakadhakwa kusvika kulast, zvokuti unenge uchinzwira tsitsi vabereki kuti wakomana apa inini I need school fees. Mumba medu were 5 and pau 5 wedu our older sister, she was married at some point, so at least so she would also sometimes support. So tanga tasatiri vana for tese tikuda ma school fees, tese tikuda kudya, tese tikuda chichi. So the life then was not a life you wish to be in. But so uchiona izvozvo zvine matroubles anoyo mulife unongozivawo zvakawanda zvinosanganikwa nevanhu. And on top of that, my mom was that person wekuti unongo uchitoona effort, and ndaibva ndanzwa kubatikana mwoyo wangu. I remember at some point my brother akazombonodzidza paAlan Wilson. So there was a time wekuti he wanted school fees. Apa mama waishanda uko aishanda, akaenda achida school fees adzingwa, and mama vabva vamutambidza mari. Ndobva tazoona payslip yamama, tikaona kuti mari yavangobva kutambira yese yakakwanirana yangonanga kuschool fees. That was really painful. So being in those situations, there are so many situations that we've been to, but I don't want to talk about my explainer. But seeing those situations and also being or experiencing such situations, to me, in Chagaso, we taught in detail shungo sterik. Even my brothers is we also want to give my baby a life that she deserves, because she's been working and she's been a hardworking woman for a long time. Even Mdarawangu, up to now, I also have much respect for him. But also because sometimes we will be with mom most of the times. So mungochinyanya kuona kutsvakira kwamai. So I guess for me ndo zvandingati zvakandipa push zvakanyanya. My interest in music, I think yakatotanga ndiri kuchikoro pandaita zvekuridza marimba. I remember kuti ndaitodza chikoro chandaidzidza ndaitozombotiza kuchikoro kwangu ndichienda kune chimwe chikoro ndichitanga kuridza marimba kuchikoro ichocho zvokuti vanai pachikoro chandaienda chacho ndatiza kwangu vanga wasichaipfeka same uniform nechangu. So the students now thought kuti I was mwana wepapo. So ndaitonoridza marimba ndato one of the best vanoridza marimba ndichiridza nepa assembly but no one knew kuti ndiri external student. That's when I developed kakuda music. Ndaitoti panoridzwa mamwe beats ndaigona kungozongotanga kunoenda kutonga mechitoridza rangu ndega beat pandatogadzira beat kapa zvinhu zvichitonakidza. Then later on after high school ndakatanga kuda kuita zvekumanage maartist because ndakangwarira. So there was time ndakambopinda mujunior council ndichiti pakaitwa maevents. Then I became the project coordinator in junior council, students of junior council. So linga nemaartist anoledi squanda namaskiri kuna mwaenza nabenjiti all those artists in Chitang. Try kulinga now kuti we tine event tine chakati and then they would come. So to me I became more interested in arts, in things to do with art. Then no one try kuda kutanga kumanager tuma artists about I was very young. I remember at some point ambotanga kufamba na maskiri steric ndichi ndatoka rana boy kake chito tikanadaita show ngota because we are also related na maskiri by the way muzukuru kwandi. So I want to akule he didn't worry much out even when I'm making my big trick. I wanted to kule gadisa my big tricks ine ndaigadzira ne that artistic mind yetu ndaitomuti saka tikutanga kuisa yakati pa number 1 yakati pa number 2 tozopedzera neyakati tozodididi. So that I would ndaitogadzira and he didn't even worry. What do I was that as long as a Casper is tolerable. And then at some point I also felt the age of that again more pinned down studio, and then I went into the studio and I thought I got a song. Tanga ins in the Tanga charge. Then the reception was quite good for me. Then I did another song and another song. And then I put days of interview, Star FM, days of interview, Power FM. There was another show at BC TV. I in the Simi Pop Reports. Simi Pop Report it was Prometheus. And then I went on to that show. And there was a lady, Madesa Chai Pisa in the Lady Banks. They got a song. Then I went on an interview on BC TV. And that interview, Madesa just ran like it's because wife also from my contact details. Depends on my contact details. Phone yanga tutanga kuremirwa kudara. My message hope mpano wakapenga. So I did not feel big because of that moment. To me, I felt grateful more than how I felt kutishin shamutanga quit. I felt more grateful to God, and then I said, okay. Such an overwhelming response from the people who saw me or the people who listened to my music. It's not me, it's not my talent, it's not good in Dakapenga because but I realized that it was all God. So I then decided to say, okay, I need to do a song to thank God for what He has done for me. And that's when I turned gospel. Ndakamba tutanga kuimba gospel, ndakutanga kuita Christian hip hop. The next song I get from the ends in Dinjere, it was a gospel song. Then I was called again on my interviews on radio, on TV. and then yakatanga kutoplaya songs ndakafarira. And to make things worse, ndaitoperforma song iyoyo mashows mamwe ndaidaidzwa aitwa chiro mumabhawa. It was a slow jam song, but I would perform it mubhawa mabva kuimba vanhu vari kuimba zvekujamba jamba chichi. Ndikaimba song iyoyo vanhu vaita kufara zvindaitofunga, but it's a soft song. So I started seeing God's hand in my life from there until ndatozoona kuti with the music zvakutanga zvitofurika madoors. So during that time, access to my studios yanga iri limited, but also I used to go kwa cafe every Monday. Aitwa performer chichi. So you would meet a lot of producers and a lot of promoters and sponsors there. So I remember I also met Papa Loza or P Loza. I'm sure Manomzia, he was managing Alana with Papa Zamtengi Gigi. So Kwakunana Brisbada, there were a lot of artists who were very good, were also under the stable raw music. And raw music, though one of the people who wakanga to support wakandita ampana chimboya mbore kuda. In fact, vakatonditi unokwasa mbore kuda mahara. And you know, during that time as an artist, artist mudiki, the thing John was nyanya kufarira lyrics pangwayo kurecord nekuita music yakwenzi abuda kwenda. So chinhu chakakoshera is money for studio. And those are zvakatikoshera during those days. But I also think Nagadasana Papa Loza, because if you are someone who was also, I wanna not talent over that, let me just exploit these young people. Why would it's like a way I record of studio one contract. But he gave me the opportunity to record studio for free with our producer in Everlast. And I turned out to my song twangu. But in general, when on record my studio, it was really hard when I was in a mad. I would be lucky because at some point when I also my artists when English to fungoti kushakosh nenge zvaanani. Wanengacho kuti we already could uyani kumbreta song newe wasvika studio kwacho producer membobva kuti I like this, so I also have a beat and fungoti you can just watch ride on it. I remember I also quit Cliff. I also worked na Shepherd when I in the Sep Records. That's where I recorded my first gospel song and the Ndinjere. The guy recorded go Sep Records. And Shepherd was also one of the people who entity because he was passionate about also uplifting my artist from Heathcliff. And remember I was now staying in Heathcliff, so I can't really say who and my studio quite needs in per se, but I would also speak on behalf of other artists from maybe the same level. I think I was lucky, or should I say I was blessed enough to meet people like Shepherd, Vanam, Everlast, P-Loads, who would give me access to their own studios. But kuneva kuti zvanga zvakatooma, so recording in my studios it. And then later on I met up with Kweza, who was a good friend of mine, or he is a good friend of mine actually. Then we started working. I think zvanga zvapa a different level now, zvanga zvava more professional and stuff. So when I was doing music, one of the things of course was to make a life out of music. But also remember I also mentioned earlier that I was once in junior council, and the reason why I was in junior council is I was very passionate about children's rights. So when I grew older, but it's not just about the children. I also want to advocate for human rights, for the rights of the young people. And I was also now a young person during that time. So to me, music became my wing. Not okay, I love music, I'm passionate about music, but also I started thinking of how then can I make a difference with my music. Of course, it's gospel, and of course sometimes it may reach kunewan I know reach, but not everyone who enjoys not everyone enjoys hip hop, and not everyone enjoys gospel hip hop. Mwana kana down the gospel arikuda magitari. Mwana ngashitoda kunzwa iri the traditional type of gospel. So the idea of making an impact with art, though we are meet up with some other young people from Heathcliff, my artists, then we started engaging in my programs. I eat Konana National AIDS Council. So Taida the platform to perform all the time. When it's a National AIDS Council, Kwankuna Dinyasha, Nyere Mokaso. She is the coordinator for Dark Harare North District. So Doba asked her, you know what guys, you want the platform because National AIDS Council would come each time a galam mu community medu cliff. But papa ma artists wana Freeman, wana Jala, Jijin, wapfana wanengwari ma artists wapfana wanengwari kurure kumbare. Doma days aitanga kusumuka mbare. Then we cliff mo mashaikwa one artist at line up. So we engaged it that I think Tunodo were involved to better play for more. And then she said to me, if you want my platforms so you also need to organize yourselves. Imimi pamunenge mushida event, an event, we just come to a group of people who are organized. To go that my artist with cliff quite slow then you guys manage it. So that's how we then started thinking, okay fine, Katite a group. Then we created a group at Heathcliff Arts Association. But Pakwita Connecticut Apashaiko conflicts when you're starting something, especially when it's something to future. So Takasum Wito ma conflicts among artists Angarimo Heathcliff Momo until Amata eyes that very focused. And then they left us. Dova Buddha for former in the Heathcliff Arts Focused Association. So in the society to one of my friend and tender. Then at that we said, okay fine, it's good. Let's restructure. And I also had friends from Nanash Tungu is artists from all over Harare Vangabai Bainakits for Onekuti Vashandinis. So instead of us calling ourselves Heathcliff, since Ichichatofa, then we started the House of Arts Association. And from there, okay, we're not just focusing on my activities, my events, but I think we try to edit my events at not promote a take. When we tried once, it's zero budget, but we ended up taking one of my resources from Tabu engage on a counselor. To me, it was a sign that okay, this thing can actually even go far. Why don't we try to say the passion that I have for empowering the young people from marginalized communities and the art that I have that I also used to start something like House of Art, can we combine it and start doing more programs and not empower my youth in one way or the other? So we then started to accommodate each in every other category art. Then we started also quite involved among my programs. I eat different NGOs until I met up with this guy from Denmark, Rasmus, an Iyake organization, North Dreamtown. And then from there, he was now mentoring me. We can actually come up with a concept to develop a project, and then we apply for it. And as a we start getting my funds. We scale up whatever that you said you want to do or that you are passionate doing, which is empowering young people, which is also venturing into advocacy, looking at other issues that the young people are facing in community. So that's what we did, and then we blessed enough that we got some funding from from Denmark. Then we started doing more programs at Akwita now as House of Arts.